Hey everyone, so as you can kind of see, Louise and I are doing this whole how to set out your IA kind of thing. Majigger? I don't know. I know that Louise is going to be looking into the extended essayness. So here I am telling you what to do about your musical links investigation. Really fast before I begin, I have to say there were a few things I missed out on the first time recording because I hadn't finished my MLI yet, and so there are a few things I missed out on. And rather than choose to re-record the whole video, I'm going to be sticking to the original video and have occasional inputs from my future self. Sorry if this is a bit disorienting, popping back and forth. I really am just trying to help with adding it as much as possible. Sorry, I really am. And now you can see the video. You do have to find two pieces that are very, very different. And that's where most people kind of struggle. To start out, you need to find two pieces that are very, very different, come from two different backgrounds, but are somehow very similar. Me personally, I'm doing some classical and a little bit of Japanese folk. I actually went back and changed the Japanese folk to Hungarian folk because I found a song that was a bit easier to compare to my classical piece. It's important to find two cultures that are still similar so that you can compare your pieces together, and because if you have too many similarities and not enough differences, you'll get points deducted, so you need to have a balance between similarities and differences. I actually changed the pieces I was analyzing 3 different times before I found the two that I would be sticking with for my final, so it's okay. Don't lose hope! Your pieces are out there! Somewhere. You need to find something in the pieces that relate to each other. It could be the rhythm, it could be how they're set out, kind of similar. Before this, though, you'll need an introduction, which states your pieces, the composers of the pieces, and also which two kind of main similarities and differences you'll be looking at. So for example, harmony and melody, which are easy enough and simple enough to state. IA is a bit different than the other IAs because unlike the other ones, it actually has to be kept in media format. You can make a website, you can make a PowerPoint, you can do Prezi, you can do like a newspaper or a blog, but it's got to be in media format. And first, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of look at the history of the two genres. After that, you're going to analyze the different pieces. Very short. So you're going to analyze your Mozart or whatever, and then analyze your other piece. And then after that, you're going to compare them. And you're going to find out how they're similar and how they're different and why it's important. For example, the pieces I looked at had the same baseline pattern at the beginning of the piece, which was then followed by a similar chord progression. Like, you're not gonna find these links right away. You actually have to look into these pieces to find the links that you're going to be analyzing. You almost have to pick a definite piece to stick with before you can go and find another piece that you think will have enough similarities and enough differences that you can compare them relatively easy enough. I actually touched on this in my original video, but because you guys know me, I couldn't say Anna Kleine Nacht music. I dissolved into fits of laughter and couldn't finish my idea, so there goes that train of thought. So here we go now with this idea. I recommend initially picking a classical or Baroque piece because those genres are big enough and are old enough that you can find a piece in there that will have enough of almost like a baseline for you to build your next piece on. So it'll be like the next piece that you're going to be finding will be almost an adaptation of this original song. And that's really important because you have to find a culture almost that's been built on the other culture because music is progressing, it's always changing, and this is a really good idea to focus on in your MLI. So. And really, that's actually what the musical links investigation is. It's an analysis of two different pieces that have to be related in some way. And trust me, they're going to be related in some way because all music is kind of interrelated and intertwined, and that's how we get progression with music, and that's why we've gone from classical to bubblegum pop. It's really just an analysis. So if you've been paying attention in class, which you should have been, then you'll have no problem with this investigation. And actually the hardest part is literally finding out which pieces you want to do. They can't be so similar, like they can't be from the same genre. They have to be different that initially when you look at them, they won't look alike at all. But when you look closer, then they have to have some sort of similarity. If you do kind of like a westernized genre and then kind of an easternized genre, compare them, then that's a really good thing to do. And in any case, you really shouldn't have a problem with the analysis unless you haven't been paying attention in class. I see you in the back there. I see you. Louis. If you've been paying attention in class and you've been practicing your analysis, then you should be fine. Always go to your teacher though. I keep saying this, but really, your teacher has done this before. Go to your teacher for help. They will help you. They'll give you some resources you can use. There's also a really good website that you can go on to get sheet music. And if you have the sheet music of the two pieces you're looking at, then it makes it infinitely easier to study them both. And then you can really easily compare, and instead of just listening to them over and over, you actually have the sheet music. I did not check this website, which is IMSLP, by the way. Go look it up, super helpful. I ended up needing to transcribe my second song, which is any of you who are actual musicians, and you should be, transcribing a piece just from listening to the video on YouTube is just about impossible. So in order to gather the musical quotes that you need for your investigation, you need the scores of both your pieces. You can't have one or the other. And these musical quotes are really important in your investigation. If you don't have them, you'll get points deducted. But basically, you have to take a screenshot of the score for your piece and insert it into the slide where you'll be analyzing whichever quote you're looking at. This could be a pedal note that continues on for a few bars, or it could be the bass line of the lowest instrument in the score. Make sure the musical quotes in the screenshots have the clef, which is treble or bass, or if you're looking at violas, then it'll be tenor or alto clef. And so it'll need the clef, the key signature, the time signature if possible, which isn't necessary, but it's good to have, and then whichever amount of bars you're looking at. So if you have the key signature kind of at the beginning of the line and the bars you're looking at are at the end, take a mini screenshot of the clef and the key signature, and then take another screenshot of the bars you're looking at and kind of combine them on your media presentation, and it's a little bit way of cheating around that, so there's a helpful hint for you. I also want to say that a large part of this musical links investigation is relying on previous musical terminology knowledge that you already have. If you don't know how to identify a chord progression or spot when the composer uses an arpeggio or an appoggiatura to translate into a different theme, then you should probably study up on your musical terminology before trying to analyze your songs. Otherwise, you're gonna be screwed. There's really not much else I can say to help you out with your MLI, because really the comparisons you'll be making depends on the pieces you choose. Ask your teacher for help once you have your songs, and if you need ideas on what comparisons to look at, ask your teacher for help. They should help. And if you have any other questions, comment down below and ask me. I'll do my best to respond and help out. Oh, also the grading for the MLI is really weird, and your teacher will definitely agree with you on this because my teacher agreed with me on this. The grading is just skewed. The rubric that they're using to grade doesn't match up to the actual MLI, and so sometimes you're not gonna get the grade you predicted. I'm really sorry, there's nothing I can do about that, and there's nothing you can really do about that either, so just do the best you can, and things will probably work itself out. Focus a little more after you've completed the MLI, obviously. Focus more on the section A for the paper, because that's the piece you can really prepare for. So study up on that section A. As a note before I end the video, I would like to say I've been thinking of starting a mini-series on this channel of just musical terminology or advice for the exam. If this is something that you'd be interested in, let me know, because otherwise, if you don't let me know, I'm not gonna know what to do. Let me know, send in your questions, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Future me out. Really hope this helped. Peace, guys. Enjoy IB. Bubblegum pop. Bubblegum. 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 I'm a little bit dead now.